What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Paul Macetta, and I'm a researcher in the field of human communication. So if you like learning about things like influence, persuasion, and how to level up your communication skills, then consider subscribing to the channel. Guys, before I jump into this video, I'm hooking you up with a free gift. The link is in the description. It's a short guide that I wrote called The 10 Invisible Mistakes that Make People Tune You Out, and how to fix every single one of them so you can get people to take you more seriously when you communicate with them. Like I said, the link's in the description. Go ahead, go grab it, have a ball with it. So in today's video, I'm going to show you a very simple question that you can ask to help move people forward in your communication, specifically when you're trying to influence and persuade them. So look, the reality is that you're always going to encounter some sort of an objection when, well, I shouldn't say always, but generally speaking, you're going to encounter objections when you ask people to do things, because the human mind is wired to be a self-preservation protector of resources. So anytime you ask somebody to do something, influence, persuade, sell, pitch them to do something, their mind is always going to loss prevention, right? Like, well, what do I stand to lose if I say yes to this? And statistically speaking, people will actually do more to avoid losing things. They'll do more to avoid pain. They'll do more to avoid loss than they will to actually gain something, right? So the two main reasons people do anything, we could distill them down to they either want to avoid pain or they want to gain pleasure. But statistically, they will do more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. The key to making the question that I'm going to show you today work is to remind them of the pain of inaction that they're going to experience, not how that pain is actually greater than the pain of taking action, right? So stay with me here. People will do more to avoid pain, to avoid loss, than they will to gain something, right? The problem is most of the time they're only thinking about what they have to lose if they say yes. What you want to do is completely flip that frame and that perspective and get them thinking about what they stand to lose if they don't say yes, if they don't take action. And so this very simple question, let's jump into it right here, is called, what would happen if nothing changed? So what this is a consequence framing question that brings attention to the cost of inaction. Because like I said, most of the time, their attention is on the cost of action. Well, if I say yes to this, how much time, money, energy, resources do I stand to lose? What we want to do is shift them away from that into how much time, money, energy, resources do you stand to lose if you don't take action? So what this does is it directs your audience's awareness toward the negative future that may unfold if they don't act, creating contrast between stagnation and progress. So when you want to use this specifically is when somebody's avoiding a decision, when they're procrastinating, when they are minimizing the need for change. But again, you want to do this without appearing forceful or directive. So again, circling back to what I said before, this works because humans are more motivated to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. So highlighting the downside of inaction can actually trigger urgency and movement. So simple examples of this are, what would your life look like in a year from now if this stays the same? What's the risk if this never gets addressed? So here's a detailed example. A coaching client says, I might just keep going the way I've been. And so you respond, well, let's explore that for a second. What would happen if nothing changed? And then they pause and then they reply, honestly, I'd probably still be miserable, and it would probably be even worse. Well, now you've brought urgency and clarity to the forefront. Now, sometimes you might get somebody that tries to work their way out of this by downplaying how bad their situation is, right? So let's for example, right, let's say you're dealing with this coaching client, and what you want them to do is, let's say, hypothetically speaking, you are coaching them on how to grow their online business, and they've been trying to do it organically, and you have a paid ads strategy. So you're basically telling them, look, if you want to grow your business and get out of like wherever you are now because you're not happy, right? You want to get past this threshold that you're experiencing. I would suggest the best way to do it is by now moving over to paid ads. And I have a paid ad strategy that's worked for a lot of other people, and it'll probably work for you. And they're like, well, you know what? I don't want to spend money on ads, right? I don't want to invest that money and potentially lose it. And so now you paint this picture of, okay, well, what would happen if you continue doing things the way that you're doing? And like, let's say now they try to downplay the cost of inaction, and they're like, well, I don't know, I suppose I could just, my business would just keep going the way it's going now. I mean, it's really not that bad, right? But the reality is they came to you for a reason. You're having this conversation for a reason. So now chances are what they are doing is they are distorting the context of the situation in order to make themselves feel better about not taking action. And so then what you'd have to do is circle them back to the reason why they came to you in the first place. And again, bring them back to where we are here then, about they came to you for a reason. That reason is they're unhappy with their current state or their current situation, and we need to change that. And in order to change that, this is the best reasonable action that you believe that they could take. You have proof that you can show that it's worked for others. It'll probably work for them. And so now we need to twist that knife a little bit. And so that's how this question works. What I gave you there was a little bit extra, a little bit deeper on what to do if they kind of downplay the consequences of an action. But essentially, the whole point of this question is to highlight what they stand to lose if they don't make a decision. Now, the recommended tonality that you want to use with this is calm but serious, slightly slower pace with downward inflection, like you're inviting them to get real with themselves, right? I've said this before and I'll say it again. People don't like to feel pressured, generally speaking. They don't like to be told what to do. They like to feel like they're coming to the decision on their own. So at the very least, this has to feel like a collaborative effort. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, leave a comment, give me a like, consider subscribing, and make sure you hit that bell notification so you get updated when I release more videos like this. And don't forget to grab that free guide. It's in the description waiting for you.